I married my wife just to make my ex-girlfriend jealous for leaving me, but now I am depressed and extremely unhappy, and I want to leave the marriage. But my wife's family will not allow me to leave their daughter unless I provide the following as compensation to their daughter. 1. One of the first things that I'm supposed to do or provide for their daughter is to buy her a house for being the first man in her life or for being the first man to break her virginity. Number 2, I'm supposed to settle their daughter with an amount of $20,000 for disgracing her with a divorce just 1 year after marriage. 3, I'm also supposed to compensate their daughter for getting pregnant for me twice, though she had miscarriages. 4, and I'm also supposed to pay their daughter a sum of $20,000 for wasting 1 year of her life and also to drive her prospective suitors away, which they say could be better than me. Then finally, I'm supposed to pay their daughter $50,000 for putting the title divorcee on her if I should eventually divorce her. Now, I feel stuck in this marriage and I do not know what to do. Now, let me tell you how I got myself in this mess. My ex-girlfriend was my university sweetheart. Right from first year in the university, we were always together at all times. Everybody in her department and my department knew about our relationship as we were mostly seen together. We were even given the nickname Romeo and Juliet and were really happy to be each other's friend, companion, and confidant. We planned to get married as soon as we left school and when we got a job, and then subsequently start our own family because we were so much in love with each other. Fortunately, right after school, we both got very good jobs and were really happy. We even felt that God and the universe were in support of our relationship, and that was why everything we prayed for was eventually pouring at our feet without struggling for anything. Then, just when we started to discussing our marriage plans, then bam, COVID-19 hit and companies were downsizing their staff, and unfortunately, both my girlfriend and I were laid off at our respective workplaces and were both really sad. So we had to put our marriage plans on hold until we were able to afford it financially. But when the COVID restrictions were tight in my country, I was not able to see her as much as I would love to see her, though we're communicating as much as possible. But when the total lockdown was enforced in my country, for some reason, our communication was not as effective as it used to be in the past. Sometimes for a whole day, I wouldn't hear from her because her phone was mostly switched off. When I was lucky to hear from her, we barely talked for even 10 minutes because she was always complaining of severe headache anytime that we talked on the phone. Then in the month of August 2021, for a whole week in the last week of the month, I couldn't hear from her, and I was deeply worried as to why her phone was switched off the entire week. Then bam! I was on Facebook one fine Saturday after just watching random videos, then I chanced upon her wedding photos with another man. What? What am I seeing? I asked myself. Am I dreaming? Or is this really my girlfriend's wedding photos? How is this even possible? Where did I go wrong? Why didn't she at least call to end the relationship? What have I done to deserve this? I was terribly devastated, very sad, and instantly I felt sick for weeks. I lost so much weight and I even thought of taking my own life and ending it all because I couldn't bear the pain that I was going through. Then, with the help of my family, I was gradually nursed back to life. And I told myself that I was never ever going to give my heart to any woman ever again. But a year after that horrible incident with my ex-girlfriend, I met Rita in a very awkward situation. I got a job as an Uber driver, and that was how I was supporting myself. Then one evening around 10 p.m., I got a request, and when I got there, a group of young ladies came out from a very big house with loud music playing, which sounded as though they were having a party in that house. Rita was my passenger that day. She was heavily drunk, and she was literally carried by a group of ladies in their early 20s and dumped at the back seat of my car. I was surprised that none of these ladies joined her, at least for her safety, especially when they knew that she was heavily drunk. And if I were a bad person, I could have taken advantage of her because she was so vulnerable in that state. But when we're halfway through the journey to her destination, her phone kept ringing. But of course, she couldn't answer it because she was heavily drunk. I then parked the car by the roadside and called her several times to answer her phone. But of course, she could barely open her eyes to even talk to me. So I removed her phone from her bag and I answered the call. And lo and behold, the person calling was her dad. I explained to her why I had to answer his daughter's phone, and he was grateful. He later told me to be gentle with her and subsequently told me where exactly I was supposed to bring his daughter, which I did. And that was how Rita and I became friends. I would call to check on her from time to time, and that was how our relationship started. Rita is from a very rich family. Her mom was late, so she was brought up by her dad together with two of her sisters. Just 6 months into knowing Rita, her dad advised that if I really like his daughter that much, then I must marry her because he didn't want me to play games with her. I saw it as an opportunity to make my ex-girlfriend jealous and to send a very strong message to her that after she left me for another man, I got another girl who is more beautiful than her and also from a very rich home to marry. I also saw it as an opportunity to change my life since Rita's dad was a very rich man and he had chains of businesses all over our country. So I saw it as an opportunity to change my financial status. So long story short, Rita and I got married and life began for us. But what I didn't know was that marrying her was my biggest mistake. The biggest mistake of my life, and I have really regretted ever marrying her. Rita is a very lazy and a very dirty girl. And she's also a very spoiled child, to say the least. And I realized that the mistake I made of my life was indeed marrying this girl. After getting married to her, her father made me a manager in one of his companies, and anytime that I closed from work and came home, I would come and meet dirty bowls and plates in the sink and washed in the kitchen from morning to evening. Because I didn't want to have problems with her, I would usually go to the kitchen and wash the bowls and clean the entire kitchen, arrange all the things in the kitchen, and clean our bedroom and lay our bed. Sometimes I would come to flush her own poo in the toilet. Yes, you heard me right. It was that bad. She can't also cook. I was shocked when she asked me how to prepare a common oatmeal. The first time that she tried to prepare rice, we had to pour the entire rice away because it was so salty and it turned into rice water. When she tried to prepare tomato stew one time to impress me, she nearly burnt down the entire house because she left the stew on the stove for hours while she went talking to her friends on the phone, and she totally forgot about the stew on the stove until I arrived home from work, and that was when I realized that the stew was completely burnt. As for washing of clothes, the least I talk about it, the better, because she could not even wash her own panties. The reason she gave me was that she had maids at her beck and call all the time, so there was no need for her to learn any of those simple and basic household chores. And as if that wasn't enough, my wife was also very lazy in bed. Our sex life was so boring and there was no iota of fun in our marriage. All that she was good at was to go to the salon, have her hair and nails done, dress very sexy, and visit her friends. She has zero concern about the marriage that we're in or the things that will make our marriage more productive or even correct the things that I complain about. She just didn't care. She will go out almost every day with her friends and will usually come home very, very late, so drunk. Our marriage is only 1 year old, but I am really, really tired already, and I want to leave the marriage. I've discussed my concerns to her father to advise her daughter, but his dad equally looked unconcerned about my plight. All he said was that marriage is work and it takes two to tango. So I should stop the complaints and rather put measures in place for our marriage to work. I found the whole situation weird, bizarre, and I'm worried about the charlatan attitude of both my wife and her dad. A few months ago, I finally gathered the courage to tell her dad that I wanted a divorce from his daughter because I could no longer cope with the situation that I am going through. And since I told my wife's dad about my divorcing his daughter, very horrible things have been happening to me since. The first thing that he did was to take away the job that he gave me, so I went back to doing my Uber job. But my father-in-law told the owner of the car to take the car from me, so I became jobless again. Then recently, he sent me a long list of things that I'm to present to his daughter and their family before they could grant me the freedom that I'm looking for by way of divorcing their daughter. On this list are the following things that I'm supposed to present to their daughter before they could finally grant me the divorce. 1. I'm supposed to buy their daughter a house for being the first man to take her virginity away. I don't even have a Toyota Corolla as I type this story, so how can I buy a whole house for her? His father's explanation is that after taking her virginity away and enjoying it as a fresh man, who do I expect to come to her life and marry her afterwards? Then number 2, I'm supposed to settle their daughter with a sum of $20,000 for disgracing her with a divorce just within 1 year of getting married. Number 3, I'm also supposed to compensate their daughter for getting pregnant for me twice, though she had miscarriages. The explanation he gave was that I wasted their daughter's womb for nothing. Then the next thing I'm supposed to do for their daughter in a form of compensation is that I'm supposed to pay their daughter a sum of $20,000 for wasting 1 whole year of her life and to drive away her prospective suitors, which could perhaps be better than me. But they gave me the opportunity and now I want to disgrace their daughter. Now, the final thing that was on the list was that I'm supposed to also pay their daughter $50,000 for putting the title divorcee on her if we should eventually go through the marriage, or if we should eventually go through a divorce. Of course, I knew I wouldn't be able to provide any of the things that they're asking of me. I decided to run away to a neighboring country for good, and that was how my journey of running away began. But what I didn't know was that I was keenly monitored. So I got caught at the airport by some armed men, and I was given a severe beatings of my life. My father-in-law claimed that he had no hand in what happened to me, and he didn't even know anything about it. But I know deep down in my heart that he was responsible for it, though I had no evidence. But deep down in my heart, I knew that he's certainly the one responsible for my plight. Recently, I got another job in a company, but strangely, my boss asked me not to report the following day for no reason. Currently, I am jobless. I feel depressed. I feel so sad. I feel so frustrated right now, and I do not know what to do. Some of my friends advise that I should forget about the divorce and patch things up with my wife. But the truth is that I have no single love for my wife anymore. In fact, right from the beginning, I only married her in order to make my ex-girlfriend jealous. Besides, there's nothing interesting about our marriage in the first place, and she doesn't interest me in any way in order for me to want to even be with her, let alone work on our marriage. What exactly can I do in order to liberate myself from this terrible situation that I found myself in? I feel so trapped and I feel so stuck. I do not know how to escape from this situation that I found myself in. I really need help. Please, somebody, I really need help. What exactly do I do in order to escape the situation that I found myself in now? Wow, guys, this story is quite intriguing. What are your thoughts on this story? Kindly leave them in the comment section. What advice will you give to this gentleman in order to escape this situation that he finds himself in right now? Can you leave your thoughts and your opinion in the comment section? And please, please, please don't forget to subscribe and turn on your notification for more stories. I'll see you in the next story. It's bye.